So not to age myself, but this is my original copy of Earthbound that I bought from Toys R Us the day it came out. So now you can kind of figure out how old I am. I didn't drive myself. I had my dad drive me. And we got a copy of Earthbound. I've had it ever since. I don't know, it's a good game. It's a neat RPG. But it's Earthbound, you guys know. But I saw something online that I could not say no to. I had to get it. I've seen these before, but this one looks halfway decent. I mean, not really. Once you start to look at it, you'll realize it really doesn't. But what the heck. So, there you go. Got a fake one, you got a real one. This is the real one. I know it's real. I was literally there the day that I bought it from the store and the day I took it out of its box, so on and so forth. But real one, fake one. Seeing them side by side, yeah, it's obvious. It's super obvious. But here's the thing. This by itself, if you get real close to the label, you can see some inconsistencies. The label just kind of feels crappy. I have a lot of pictures that I've taken of this. And again, I mean, and this is not like these exist, like fakes of Earthbound exist. People have them documented, categorized, and I'm not really going to get into video game verification. I will make a guide of what to look at and what to go through on just how to understand if what you're looking at is fake or not. There's some steps, and there are a lot of steps that you can do just based on the listing itself. You don't have to have the physical item in front of you. That's a whole separate thing, though. So this is the real one. We'll flip them over. This is the fake one. What's interesting is that the fake one, the copyright on the back is 1991, made in Japan, and the real one, I'm getting confused now, and the real one says made in Mexico, copy 1991, 1992 Nintendo made in Mexico. So realistically, if you were to look at these two backs and you didn't know any better, I could see why you would think the Japan one, this one, is actually the real one, and that this one is the fake. I could see how you could think that. I'm gonna open these up and I'll show you what we're looking at. Again, this isn't a dive into, all things how to verify games. There's tons of resources out there. The one thing that I want to note before we get much further, and you can barely see it, there's a little number 40 right there. There you go. See that? There's a little number 40 that's been stamped in there. This guy has nothing. No number stamped on there. Just one little thing. The longer you look at the two of them, the more you start to see differences. But honestly, I'm telling you, if you just had this sitting here, maybe. Maybe you would, maybe. I know the label's coming up. The guy that I bought it from told me that the label was coming up, and the label's actually just coming off. I'm going to show you guys in a short video, later on, not now. I'm going to show you guys in a short video how to relay labels. Super easy. Spray adhesive, a roller, and then you just have to roll it in certain ways. I'll show you how to relay that label, re-adhesive the back, lay it out, get it nice and tight, nice and squared up. It's actually fairly square. It's not, the label's a little bigger than this one. I'll do measurements, everything else. Let's pop open the fake right away, just to see what we're looking at. Wanted to make sure I took some good pictures before we got too much further. My guess is this is I don't know, this is probably a case from somebody. Maybe an old game and they stripped off the label. I don't know. Because the weight feels good. Oh no. Oh, but look at that. Interesting. Interesting. I'm just taking some pictures as we go along. I'll take some better pictures when we get further in, but that's interesting. I'll tell you what, this case actually looks, it almost looks printed. I know that it's not, but it almost does. Oh, there you go. That's your fake board. It's in really good shape though. I will play it. Oh, and it has right? Yeah. I was gonna say, this is removable. Well, that's nice. Somebody was thinking ahead. Anyway, there's tons of pictures of these documented out there in the world. It's not that, oh, let me leave that off. It's not that weird. You know, it's not like I'm the only person in the whole wide world that has a fake Earthbound. Nor am I the only person in the whole wide world that has a real one. I'm aware. Hey, that looks like a real game. Board looks a little more substantial, wouldn't you think? Almost dropped it. There's a real Earthbound board. Again, pictures of all the PCBs exist all over the place. I have not changed the battery on this one. The battery is more than likely dead, but I haven't changed the battery just because. I don't know. I have a hard time changing the batteries in games that I grew up with. I don't know, just because. Because I don't know. It's probably dumb, but it's funny. I wonder what that section was for. I don't know as much about this stuff as I wish I would. I'm learning. Yeah. So anyway, there's that. Real one, fake one. This does kind of look printed on the inside, which is interesting. How did I know this one was fake? The seller told me. I got it for very cheap. He wasn't trying to like pass it off as real or anything. And I think he got a kick out of the idea that I had a real one and I was spending actual money to get a fake one. And it's just kind of like this, why? What are you doing that for? But, so, real quick, just some key things to remember about the fake games and figuring out if it's a fake game. A lot of sellers do their best to screw holes suck. A lot of sellers do their very best to try to let people know when it is fake. But there are tons and tons and tons of pictures out there in the world for you to be able to compare the two of them. Some key things on this one that I noticed: the price. This one was $35. This one is a little bit more. He, again, like I said, he said flat out that this was fake. Feeling them, they feel about the same. I'll weigh them, but honestly, I bet you anything, the only thing that's a different weight is the PCB. The board on the inside is probably the only thing that's really throwing off the weight difference. Structurally, they look about the same. You'll notice that there's a little bit of aging on the real one, and there's not on the fake one, so that's something to keep in mind. The white has kind of faded a little bit on the back of this one. This one looks super clean. Just another thing to keep in mind when you're looking at something is, does it look the age? Does this look like a game that came out in 1991, 1992? Does it look like it's been around that long? You know, if you were born in 1991, do you look as old as this thing? You know what I mean? And just be critical about it. Just give it the once over. You know, if you have the opportunity to do so, just look at it, give it the once over, feel it around and everything. And if you have hesitations, if it's a really good price and you have hesitations, there is no problem in asking, can I open this? And if they say no, now here's the thing. For like Earthbound, for something that's, you know, 50 to above kind of money, yeah, if you want to open it because you're willing to spend some decent money on it and everything, you should be able to open it up. If the seller won't let you open it up, pass on this. Okay? Simple as that. Just pass on this. There's no reason to gamble money on a fake that you're not sure of. You need to be 100% sure of the money that you're spending. I just noticed these aren't lining up either. Oh, they're definitely different sizes. Interesting. No point in spending money on something that you aren't sure is the real deal, unless you want the fake or you don't care. There's lots of different things, but do your due diligence to verify. Tons of pictures online of all of this, of the real ones. You can check it, you can verify it, you can look at it, and if you have doubts, honestly, just pass on it. If it looks strange, if you're wondering about it, if you feel like you need to check out on it, there's no harm in passing on something. You will find another copy, and you will find a legitimate copy at some point. There's no reason to risk it, gamble it, or anything else. Unless you want to make a stupid video on YouTube comparing the two of them. And then you can do that. I don't know why you would, but I mean, I did it. The label definitely gives it away. But if it didn't have the label, there are also a lot of different things that just don't quite feel right. The number embossing is one thing you'll see a lot, especially on the Pokemon games. The label coming up. And this is what's funny, is the label's coming up on this one. The label's been on this one for 30 years. Still going strong. So just, Super Nintendo games were made very well, I think. I think the Super Nintendo games were made very well, and you should see the quality reflected in what it is that you're looking at kind of down the road. You can also see the PCBs. A little bit of a different shade, that kind of thing. Just look over the fake, look over the game that you're looking at, see if it's fake. If you have any doubts or anything, verify it before you spend some money. I knew what this was. The seller was nice enough to tell me that it was fake. I could have told that it was fake. From the pictures alone, I would have known that it was fake. And I probably still would have bought it. If he was charging, I think it was $35. If he was charging $35 for this, and it was online, and he was saying that it was real, I probably still would have bought this. I have this nasty habit of buying cheap, fake games just because, honestly, I just want to keep them out from circulation, and I want to be able to document them as much as I can. This isn't going to be like a feature on this channel or anything, but I personally just collect them to document them and help make buyers aware of fakes. Because this game's going for a lot of money nowadays. Well, not this one. This one. Not there. This one's going for a lot of. This one's going for a lot of money. This one is not. And you know, some people get excited. If this was $100, honestly, I could put this online and sell this for $100, probably. And someone would buy it, and then they would realize it was fake, and you know, not the best thing. But I'm just saying. I wouldn't, though, because that's messed up. But I want to make sure people know what to do to verify games, and I'll do a little write-up. There's some good guides out there. That kit from Pink Gorilla that's floating around, I got one. It is somewhere around here. I got one. It's actually good. It has a couple of tools to pop things open, 3.8 tri-wing, and it has some cards of just some things to look at. It's good information, too. You know, pick one of those up if you're not sure. And like I said, I always run around video game conventions and flea markets and stuff like that with a tri-wing. So there's a tri-wing right there. And then my little multi-tool that's got a 4.5 for Sega and a 3.8 on the back. And I run around conventions, flea markets, stuff like that with these two guys. And yes, sometimes with the magnifying glass. And I run around with those three things just to inspect and just to look. Because if I'm going to spend, you know, $100 to $200 on something, I want to make sure it's real. No harm in that. And if the seller throws a fit because you want to verify it, hey, that's a pretty good example that there's something sketchy going on. That's it for this one. I'm going to clean this one up. I don't know, do something fun with it. I got to relay the label. That'll be a separate video, and that'll be neat. I'll show you guys how to relabel games to make fakes. Just kidding. Labels do come up over time sometimes, so I'll show you how to do that one in the next video. Until next time, I have a lot of cleaning to do. So I'm going to get cleaning. See you guys.